Hello, everybody. Can I interrupt again? Mr. Dave Mashoff, maybe we need you to let loose a war cry. Would you do that? Oh, you hurt yourself on that one. Okay, great. Well, welcome, everyone. Welcome to our celebration tonight. Welcome. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Hopefully you've got yourself a good plate of food, and there's plenty left up there, so feel free to get up and take a walk and pick up a little bit more if you desire. It's great to have everybody here. We get a chance to celebrate Mike's retirement. We're going to have a little food, a little fellowship, a little bit of fun, fun with Mike. So we got a chance later on to have lots of fun because of Mike. So we'll get to enjoy that time with the retirement. Before we do that, though, what I'd like to do is ask Mike if he would be willing to come up and to introduce his family. So there's nothing like your family to help support you in your role and what you do through your career and through your life. So, Mike, can you come up and introduce your family, please?
Tim. Well, good evening, everyone. Great to see a wonderful turnout tonight, and honored that everyone can be here, and especially my family. And starting off with Carol of right here. If you really just raise your hand so they can see you. And my son Paul and Eric at the next table, and brother Glenn and Scott, and Rita, Glenn's wife, Rita Penrod, and my dad Don, and Sue Shepard up in front. So I think I got everybody. And another brother, Stefan and Lonnie, were unable to make it tonight, and Scott's wife, Laura, was unable to make it. But great to have all of you here to help celebrate and welcome. Thank you.
So part of what we'd like to do tonight is to reflect a bit on Mike's career. As we take a look that he was, according to my notes, he was hatched in 1952. Is that right, Mike? And then, 40 plus years later, but he started at age 10 as a chicken wannabe. So I know that he's got many stories about how Don kind of pushed him right into the business at a very early age, and maybe that was the babysitter that worked out real well at the hatchery or something. I guess that's how that comes together. But we also want to express some gratitude to the Helgeson family as well. And the gratitude for the Helgeson family really has come back to the fact of the values that are really instilled within the culture of our overall company. And those values have been instilled through the years, and lots of gratitude for Don and for all you've done for the company as well. Having those values that we all appreciate help form what this company is about. And so having that respect and having the sense for quality and that sense for what the customer is all about and the innovation and the integrity that we've got for each other and for team members is something that really is important for our business and is critical to help make us who we have been through the years. So, but I don't say it nearly as well as what Don would say or what Mike would say it, and we've got a video that incorporates some of those comments. So, Christina, if we're ready for the video, if we could play that, please.
Since its founding about 90 years ago, the company known today as G&P Company has weathered hardships and adversity and has innovated its way to success through partnerships with its valued team members, family farm partners, and the community. Carried by values instilled by its founding family, G&P Company has grown from a simple hatchery to a leading provider of premium branded chicken products. When Ian Helgeson started the family business in 1926 with nothing more than an 8th grade education and a desire to provide for his family, he could not have imagined the long-term positive impact that decision has had on people's lives.
First and foremost, he was engaged to be married. He saw an opportunity to settle down. Being not risk averse, he decided to make the jump. One thing about Dad, he always said details. John that into me. That aspect of it, I think, was true. Mike became very attentive to details as well. And Mike is very hardworking. Mike works a lot harder than I ever did. And the business is more complex now. You have to work harder at it. I think every father would be pleased when you have a very capable son that's able to take over from you.
That's a great example of treating people with integrity, with trust, and with respect. And I think that's really been, I think, a hallmark of the company. My grandfather was an excellent business person, understood the need to differentiate, produce a high-quality product that customers would want to buy.
The chicken industry is highly volatile, and many companies have not survived the test of time. GNP Company's ability to thrive for nearly a century can be attributed to one key factor: innovation. Every turn in the road throughout the company's history has demanded that it follow a path less traveled, to continually improve and differentiate in order to grow.
A company grows or dies, and one of the ways a company can grow is through innovation, identifying new ideas, but the key is implementing those ideas to create value for your customers and for your consumers. And innovation has been a hallmark of our company since its very beginning. Well, in April of 1983, Jack Frost at the time had the opportunity to acquire the Cold Spring processing plant and sales from our joint venture partner, Armour. It was a critical strategic move for the company, a very huge step on behalf of Jack Frost to take at that time. In April of 1993, we acquired Arcadia Friars from the co-op. That acquisition really put us on the road to growing our deli and food service businesses and provide the opportunity to create a bird and products that were specific to that market. We've over tripled that volume since that time.
Innovation, coupled with the caring spirit of its people, has allowed GNP Company to prosper, even during trying times and unforeseen challenges.
Saturday afternoon, I get a call at home, heard the plant was on fire, my heart dropped. Walking into the plant that night after the fire was out with the fire department, Mike Hoffman, Mike Yeager, our plant operations manager, I was just wondering how in the world we'd ever be able to get the plant back in operation. Everything was charred, there was a foot of water on the floor, but through the dedication and commitment of our team members, they worked hard, they worked long hours, worked at different locations, the tremendous recovery on part of the company. And really, I think it just exemplified the team member commitment and dedication that we have in our people.
GNP Company came back stronger with a plant that is one of the most innovative in the country. While innovation is the cornerstone upon which GNP Company has been built, its additional core values of safety, quality, respect, and integrity comprise the foundation.
I believe our values surround everything we do. I want to make sure that people feel empowered, that people feel like they can trust us, that our word is gold. We try to operate like a big family, where we all work together, we all improve the business together, and safety is a piece of that.
Safety is considered from a standpoint of food safety and from team member safety.
Our value proposition to our customers include that we will provide a high-quality, consistent product. We go to market with our products having very tight attributes that we track and monitor through our process quality system to ensure that we provide a consistent product in the marketplace. I think respect means to treat people like you want to be treated. Treat people like they're a part of a larger family. It ranges from our grower partners right through all of our team members, and as well as the relationships we've built with our suppliers and our customers.
Within this company, what's really important with integrity is that people are honest with each other and that we can work with each other, believe in each other, trust in each other.
That's a great example of treating people with integrity, with trust, and with respect. And I think that's really been, a hallmark of the company. For example, the grower contracts that we have today go back to his time, which was really a unique contract to our industry, that paid the grower on basically on the size or footage of the size of the building they had. Truly was a partnership with our growers.
GNP Company's core values have brought the company to where it is today. a leader in the industry with a promising future of growth.
As we look at the growth opportunities, it's going to take tremendous capital. Partnering with somebody that can invest the capital, take a long-term view of the business is critical. So the decision to sell the company was a major decision on part of the family, one that we took very seriously, but with the interest of our team members and growers at heart. Mash House are committed to the long-term growth of the company, and they take a long-term view for their business and our business together so that we can be successful and continue to grow. So we're very fortunate to be with the Mash House.
As the company nears its 90th year, GNP looks to new leadership. Following more than 4 decades in the poultry business and 21 years as CEO, Mike Helgeson announced his retirement in 2014. As CEO of GNP, Mike led the $450 million company through tremendous change, challenge, and growth, including tripling sales during his tenure and the successful acquisitions of the Arcadia, Wisconsin and Laverne, Minnesota processing plants. Category firsts, such as implementing a fixed-weight scannable program, the launch of the Just Bear brand, and many other new products. Beginning November 2014, Steve Jurek steps into the company's top leadership position.
I've been here for 37 years, and it's really the culture that has attracted me and kept me here.
He is very well regarded by the people that he's working with. He is very good on details, on keeping on top of what's going to make the company tick.
He brings tremendous knowledge, insight, and commitment to the table. Steve understands the company, the people, processes, and the company will do well under Steve's leadership.
Don't they say it much better than I did? So very good job, Don. Very good job, Mike. Steve, where's Steve as well? Steve, nice job. You look good in there. What you see up there, especially coming out of Mike, is the voice of the owner. We talk about in the sales and the marketing side of the business, the voice of the customer. And that's that customer who talks about what their needs are, what they want to see, what their desire is. What you're seeing there from Mike is the voice of ownership, but it's also a voice of the people. Voice of ownership says, we want to continue the business, we want to prepare for the future, we want to continue to grow. Voice of the people says, dedicated to healthy food, families, and farms. We regenerated a mission statement about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, and part of that process of getting a mission statement, which is your purpose, why you're in business. What we did is went around and did interviews. I think we interviewed hundreds of people around the company. And it was amazing what came forward was the same consistent message from everybody is that they're concerned about the people, they're concerned about the animals that they're raising, they're concerned about the growers and the farmers. And what came out of that was a pretty easy mission statement that was pretty easy to determine, and it was dedicated as a company, as all team members, dedicated to healthy food, families, and farms. So having that voice of ownership, having Mike as the voice of the people in order to understand what the people are really looking for, had to come from being in the plants, in the field, in the feed mill, in the hatchery, knowing and intermixing with all the people to share in that ownership and what that voice is. So that was one of the things that I really felt that Mike stood for, is the voice of the ownership, but the voice of the people, because he was out there with the people and not afraid to jump in and get involved and help pick feathers when we're at the plant, pick up dead chickens for one time. But being out there and being part of the group and not being afraid to get into the business and really understand what that business is about. So having that very visible face of ownership and for the people, and having a passion for the business, and having a real sense of family for the team members really does an awful lot to help generate engagement of all the team members that we've got within the company. Mike also had a little difficulty keeping a job, kind of like myself. I think I've had like 5 or 6 jobs in my career in the last number of years with GNP and with Goldn Plump before GNP. Mike, I know you've been a truck driver, a grain buyer, an HR manager, a new products manager, and a dead chicken picker-upper. So those are just a few of the jobs that Mike's had. So that also tells you something about Mike. It tells you that he's not afraid to work around the company, not afraid to learn, not afraid to understand what it takes to run a business like this. And having those experiences throughout the company really does help in bringing to life what the leadership should be and where this company should be going. So, Mike, I want to thank you for your passion and your desire to be part of this business and to be right in there with all the people to help make it work. We also have some additional acknowledgments that came through. And these are from people that I think, Mike, you might recognize. For example, we've got the mayor of St. Cloud, David Kleiss, had a few comments. He says, "Congratulations, Mike, on your well-deserved retirement. I can't imagine anyone in the St. Cloud area who hasn't enjoyed a tasty, delicious Goldn Plump chicken dinner. The success of your St. Cloud-based business has provided our community members with good jobs and kept our regional family farmers thriving. Enjoy success in the next phase of life's journey." The Cold Spring Mayor, Doug Schmitz, "Thank you for all you've done at GNP Company and everything you have done to make Cold Spring a better place to live and work." The Arcadia Mayor, John Kimmel, "The Goldn Plump brand in so many ways, like Mike the man. He strives for excellence, he perseveres, and he continues to march forward, meeting challenge after challenge, and each journey becomes that much stronger and respected. And today he's in a class all by himself, leaving behind a legacy that can be summed in a single word: excellence." The Arcadia Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, "Your leadership in the development of GNP Arcadia's facility has been instrumental in the growth and sustainability of Arcadia's agricultural economy. Your accessibility, good humor, willingness to listen, and sincere approach to business and community issues will be missed." Laverne Mayor, Patrick Boston, "Since locating to Laverne in 1998, GNP Company continues to be an asset to Laverne. Not only does GNP Company employ many residents, but it continues to be a civic-minded organization, which is greatly appreciated by the city of Laverne. I wish you well in your retirement and congratulate you on a job well done with GNP Company." Minnesota Agri-Growth Council Perry had commented that you've provided visionary leadership throughout your career with GNP Company, and you've left a legacy to be proud of. I also want to give a special thanks for your service and leadership in support of the Minnesota Agri-Growth Council, including the years you served as a member of the Agri-Growth Board of Directors. Best wishes in your retirement. National Chicken Council, Mike Brown, almost done. Mike Brown, "I want to personally thank NCC immediate past chairman Mike Helgeson for a strong commitment and for the leadership he deployed as the NCC chairman this past year, and for his dedication to our industry for more than 40 years. I wish Mike and his wife Carol all the best as they embark on a well-earned retirement together." And the last one I've got here is from the St. Cloud Area Chamber of Commerce, Teresa Bonin. Teresa says that we've always appreciated GNP's dedication and commitment to our chamber and its initiatives. I especially appreciate your willingness, Mike, as the CEO, to engage and personally participate in chamber activities and events. Your community and organizational leadership are remarkable in countless ways. I especially have enjoyed your personal relationship, Mike, our personal relationship. I've always come away with meetings with you with the knowledge that there's something else to learn about. You're a valued colleague and friend, and I've enjoyed social time with you a great deal. I hope your retirement brings you much adventure and relaxation." So these are just some of the comments that community people have had to say about Mike and about what we can represent within the communities that we're in. So again, congratulations. So with that, Mike, how would you like to come up on the stage and say a few words?
I think it's you as a surprise. Well, just again, really great to see all of you tonight, and appreciate you coming out and joining our celebration as we kind of transition from era to another. So, but really, it's an opportunity to step back and think about the celebration of as I look to retire. But it's really completing one chapter and opening another for myself and the company. We're here tonight because all of you have played a significant role in my history, the history of the company, as well as celebrated in our successes. As Tim mentioned, I've worked in the business more than 40 years, plus another 12 years working part-time in summer and holidays, and that was before there were child labor laws, so I was able to do that. Also, I had the honor of serving as CEO for the past 21 years, and during that time, also served on the board of directors for National Chicken Council, and as Tim mentioned, I had the honor of being board chair the past year for National Chicken Council. So as I step back, it's we've had the I'm proud of the success that we've had going through the challenges, the growth of the company, the vitality of the company, and the growth of the industry, doing all that together. But I thought I'd like to step back a little bit. 40 years ago, it was 1974. I graduated from college, and 2 days later, Dad said, "Well, why don't you go to work and do something productive?" And so, for the first, so as I began my career, not only the industry was continuing to evolve, but so was our company. But just stepping back on the industry at that point. I couldn't imagine, the industry evolving and growing to what it is today, and how it would change in that time. For example, in 1974, as an industry, we produced about 8 billion pounds of chicken on a ready-to-cook basis, and today that's about 38 billion pounds. In 1974, we exported just over 1%, 1.4% of our total production, and today we export about 20% of our production, and expect to set a new record this year as well in terms of volume. In terms of per capita consumption, chicken is about 39.7 pounds per person, and today it's over 83.5 pounds per person, with studies indicating consumers are intending to eat more chicken going in the future. So these are some examples of the resilience of our industry, the ability of our industry to innovate, to grow, and to remain relevant with our consumers. While the needs of the marketplace and consumers have continued to evolve and change, the industry has changed, but also our company has changed as well. For example, in 1974, our company's annual sales were about 27 million. 2014, we're approaching 450 million in sales. Number of birds processed on a weekly basis was about 225,000 to 250,000 birds a week, and today it's about 2 million birds a week in volume. In 1974, we had about 125 team members, and today we have about 1,700 team members. So this growth is an example of and a tribute really to all the stakeholders that are involved in making the company successful. It's because of you that are here tonight that we've been able to take up the path less traveled in order to innovate, to grow, to meet the changing needs of the marketplace. It's been gratifying to have been a part of a dynamic and growing company and produces high-quality protein for America's consumers. I realize it's not been an easy journey in a challenging cyclical industry as ours, but it's been the people and our ability to support and step up at key times in our history that has made a difference. For example, we had the Cold Spring Fire in 1998. The team pulled together and worked, really nonstop for weeks on end through Labor Day weekend and other weekends in various locations to get the company back up in operation. We did it quickly, and we came back and delivered on our customers' commitments. We had a tough year in 2008 due to escalating feed costs, in part to ethanol. You know I was going to get that in here somewhere. But end of 2008, we wanted to make sure we met all our bank covenants, and so we had to do some things to in terms of making sure our ratios are in line. We took away a week of vacation from all our salaried team members, and we had the full support of our team to do that. Fortunately, the business turned around early the next year, and we were able to reinstate that the following year. But as just an example of the commitment and support of our team members. Well, we faced many challenges over the years due to the cyclical and volatile nature of our industry, but we've survived and thrived as a company, while others in our industry were not so fortunate. In fact, a number of companies have gone out of business or forced to selling. Well, we've just completed our 6th and consecutive profitable year, and actually in the last year achieving a record year of sales and profits. But this is really a testament to our resilience of our team, the people that have supported us, and an accomplishment we can all be proud of. Congratulations. I'd also like to recognize Goldn Plump's business leadership team for the hard work that you do each and every day. I know I speak for all of us when I say how much we appreciate your strong commitment to the company, and I appreciate the support you've provided me in my role as CEO. So let's take a moment to give them a round of applause. And the leadership team is here tonight. The business has always fascinated me. One of my earliest memories, I think I was 4 or 5, going through the old hatchery, which is actually just across the block, which is now Liberty Savings, and going through the hatchery with my grandfather, and he'd walk through and he'd be checking how the hatch was going that particular day, talking to the team members and customers that were in the business. But I can remember going up this old elevator and seeing the machines, and it just seemed to be kind of a fascinating business. And so it's been a part of my life all the years. And there was countless times I would remember listening to my father and his brother Jerry talking about the challenges of the business, but also the opportunities in the business. And of course, there's never a lack of the challenges. But we'd have conversations around the dinner table, hearing about the business and learning about what was happening and what was coming up, and then how we're going to go forward and how we're going to survive this particular crisis. So I feel fortunate to have gained the understanding really firsthand from the inside out, and also to see how it grew and changed over that time. And also having the opportunity, as Tim mentioned, working in many different areas of the company. And I really enjoyed the opportunity of working in those various jobs. But really it was the most humbling part was getting to know the people and understand the people and how hard everyone in the company works, but also how critical each and every person is in terms of making the company successful. So to celebrate this history, we've recently developed a souvenir booklet and a history video that captures the background and the major milestones of the company since 1926. So please take one of these booklets on your way out tonight. They'll be at the table, and one for you as a souvenir. But this came about with a lot of work, and I'd like to recognize a few people that were instrumental in developing the book and the other history pieces, including the video. I'd also like to start by recognizing Julie Burling, who's unfortunately not able to make it tonight, but in her team who oversaw and kind of spearheaded the overall project. I'd also like to give a special thanks to my sister-in-law, Rita Penrod, who designed the booklet and the layout of the book, as well as to Christina Melankowski. Where's Christina? Back, and Jean Hill from Maccabee Group, who also facilitated the booklet project and the other projects, and also facilitated and organized the other 2 retirement events and tonight's event. So let's take a moment to also recognize them. But what the most important is the family support. I'd like to recognize the support of my father, Don, who was, as chairman, gave me support as being a CEO and giving me, and Steve and Tim and myself, enough latitude, but also support and counsel as we needed it over the years. My wife, Carol, for listening to me talk endlessly about grain markets and commodity price of corn and other issues. And my sons, Paul and Eric, who also got to hear many of those same conversations and through the time. But it's again, I thank you. It's with your strong support and understanding that you provided me over the years that I was able to involve myself in the business, in the industry, in our communities. So thank you very much. As we transition to the future, I'd also like to welcome Steve Jurek as my successor. I've worked with Steve starting about 37 years ago. We were both in the feed mill. Steve came in as a cost accountant doing cost accounting and shared a nearby office with me. So we had an opportunity of working together for a long time. But over that time, I've had the privilege of seeing Steve grow and develop, work in different areas of the company, and he can continue to take on new challenges and demonstrated his leadership. So as we look to the future, I have full confidence the company will do well under Steve's leadership as we go forward. But I think the future is bright. Last year, we engaged Ron Flaherty to help us identify growth and growth capital. And through the process, Ron identified the Mashoff Company as a potential partner. And Mark Greenwood, who is sort of like our matchmaker as with AgStar, banking both companies. Mark was kind of saw the benefit of both companies and also was very, very supportive and provided along a lot of input and was a strong advocate of the process. So this has resulted in a very successful transaction. We're fortunate to have found the Mashoff family, and I think we're really fortunate is that there's a shared values and a rich history together as companies in animal agriculture. And understanding animal agriculture is unique to other businesses and even other agricultures. So we're honored to have the Mashoff family here tonight. Dave and Karen, Julie and Ken over there, and Jason Logston as CEO of Mashoff Family Foods. So before I turn the podium over to Jason, I'd like to say that it's because of all the great people, all of you here tonight, that we're able to, celebrate and also look forward to a prosperous and exciting next chapter in the history of G&P Company. So as I finish one chapter, I look forward to a new chapter, having the opportunity of doing some things I haven't had the chance to do in the last 40 years. Having a little free time, do a little more travel with Carol, and build a house and some other things. So I'm here I'm supporting the transition going forward, and whatever I can do to be a part of it, be a support of it, I'll be there. But I also ready to hand it off, and I know it's in good hands and good leadership. So with that, it's been a privilege to know all of you, to work with you, and I want to thank you.
Quite fortuitous to have to follow that. I do want to clarify, when Mike said he'd like to welcome the Mashoff family and he named me, I'm not related to Ken. What are you laughing about, Dave?
I have to be related to him. I don't have a choice.
No, and I do want to introduce and make sure everyone knows Troy Van Houen and Greg Billhartz are here with Mashoff Family Foods as well. Thanks. Yes, the Princess Wave.
He's not related either. Jason, please clarify. He's not part of the family.
Yeah. All right. We thank you very much, Mike, for giving us a few minutes to speak tonight. It's an honor to be here. What a great turnout, and I think that speaks wonders to your career. Carol, we were talking last week, or I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, about Mike retiring and thinking the day would never come. Today I walked in the office about 10:30 and he was at his desk. I thought he retired last Friday. I'm not so sure. if we're here next year at this time, I'll look forward to that. I was struck when Tim referenced all the various groups that had commented about Mike, and not surprised by that. Many great things, and the communities that have been impacted, the lives that have been impacted. It's quite tremendous, and Tim's inbox must have filled up. I did get one here from Growth Energy and Renewable Fuels Association, which says, "Thank you, it's about time." So I'm not sure why they didn't get your email address, Tim. But in all seriousness, Mike, I want to thank you very much for building such a great business that we can now be a part of. You've had a tremendous vision. You have put together a team that has executed that vision, and it's really remarkable growth when you look back and think about the people and the that have been impacted by that. It's quite humbling. I've said to you a few times over the last couple weeks that I probably didn't know enough to stand up and talk about your retirement, and I think the thing that struck me, and I say us as we've done these parties, is the impact you've had on the team and the stories that I've heard, and Tim referenced it earlier. It's really remarkable. And then probably, one thing you've never said to us, but your actions have spoken so heavily, and that is the fact that you have clearly demonstrated that your desire to see the company successful in the next 10 to 20 years is even greater than your desire to have made it successful the last 20. And you have chosen to define your legacy by what happens from here forward. So thank you very much for that on behalf of the Mashaw family, obviously being the beneficiaries of that, and to all the team members in the room. So greatly appreciate that. That's not common, I think, and that selflessness is greatly appreciated. To Carol and to Don for helping us as an advisor, and to Paul and Eric for treating us like family, thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. We've said this many times, but you've treated us like family. Well, not Troy, but the rest of us. And that's greatly appreciated. To the team members and the BLT that's in the room, what a tremendous group that's been put together. And the optimism that we have about the business is really rooted in the strength of that team. It's a team that's been together a long time, that's accomplished great things, but that I believe is really poised to take the next step. And we've talked over the last few weeks about the various steps of growth of the business, and I think we're upon one here in the very near future. I do want to take an opportunity to recognize the spouses of the BLT. I was unfortunately sick last year when we did the parties, and to go through the process that the business went through to change ownership is no small feat, and I know that means that your spouses were away from home and away from your family, and that's greatly appreciated. And I know that is quite a sacrifice on your part, and thank you very much for that. And then finally, I'd like to share my excitement to have Steve Jurek taking over as the president of G&P Company. I thought it was 2 days ago, but I'm not really sure. Steve? Steve has been with the company 37 years. Which is pretty hard for me to fathom, and has seen all parts of the business, has tremendous respect among the team, has a tremendous energy to drive the business forward, and we're proud to have him be the president of G&P Company. So I'd wrap up, Mike, by thanking you very much and saying that we're very excited about the future and excited about Steve Jurek leading us as we take the next step. Thank you.
More my size here. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Mike on his retirement, and the best of luck to you, Mike, and Carol, and the family as you continue to move forward. I'd also like to thank the Helgeson family, Don and Mike, for the opportunity that they gave me, and including a mentor of mine over there, Mr. Nelson. Appreciate. He taught me more about figures than anybody I know. I mean numbers. Not figures.
There's going to be an open mic later.
And Mr. Flaherty, good to see you here tonight, and our legal team. There was one other proclamation too that Bill Pett sent over this morning. Remember that one, Bill? I do. That was from Governor Walker from the state of Wisconsin. So that was very nice. On the bottom it did say "Go Packers" on it though. Is anybody having any trouble parking tonight? Well, I did. Yeah, a number of people did. This is Mike's third party. We've had two others, and this is the third, and I think this is the biggest of the bunch, and I thought maybe we're going to have the whole hotel full of people based on the cars out there. I also like to appreciate the confidence that the Mashoffs and Jason has shown in our leadership. We got a great leadership team, and really looking forward to working with all of you going forward here. I am very excited for this opportunity. I thank you for this opportunity. In fact, I had to pinch myself every now and then just to make sure it's real. When I told my granddaughter, Nevaeh, that I was going to become president, her eyes lit up like a Christmas tree, and she got all excited, and she says, "Papa, does that mean I get to move to the White House with you?" I had to kind of bring her down a notch or two, and it wasn't quite the same job. But I do believe Mike did a great job. He built a bigger, more successful company, great new relationship with the Mashoffs, and a great team of people in here, as well as all of our team members. They're the heart of the company, and they're like family to me. I have worked with Mike for 37 years, and I think we have some similarities. I think we try to think logically. We try to use common sense in running the business. We try to treat people like we like to be treated ourselves. We try to think strategically. We like to innovate, to grow, and always learn. And I believe at the same time that we do have some differences. So we're similar, but we're not the same. But I believe the similarities are very striking. Mike does live our values every day. Our values of safety, quality, innovation, respect, and integrity. He lives them every day. Although, he's human, though. He can falter just a bit. I was driving back from Minneapolis with him one night. This was about 10 o'clock, and when you let Mike drive, you're taking your life in his hands. That's not a good thing. And this was about 10 years ago, before iPhones, and he was operating with a little calendar about 2 inches by 2 inches. He always used that calendar. So here we go, we're driving, and he was coaching me on our safety performance. I was improving our safety. Why wasn't our driver safety better? Why wasn't our plant safety better? He was really coaching me the whole trip home. And then I mentioned to him that we have a meeting, that our lenders wanted to set up a meeting with us for a certain date. And what did he do? He turned his dome light on. He put his knee against the steering wheel. He opened up his calendar. And he started to page through it to find the date, see if he had it open. So, needless to say, yeah, right. I should have wrote you up for that, Mike, but I didn't. I was kind to you. But I did chastise him. Yeah, well, no. But I did mention to him the fact that, you got to lead by example. And so, anyway, but Mike does lead, live our values every day. So going forward, we're going to lead, we're going to continue to be true to our values, be true to our mission, vision, and our customer-focused strategy, and at the same time, we'll change. We're going to change to meet the ever-changing needs of our consumers, our customers, and our team members, and our grower partners. I also want to introduce my wife, Sandy. Been a great partner for me for 39 years now. So. So with that, I'd like to introduce Don Helgeson. If you talk about our values, Don is the epitome of our values, plus he is a great community builder. St. Cloud would not be what it is today without Don. So here's Don.
Well, listening to all these remarks, one thing I have to comment on, Mike actually acknowledged the fact that he learned something from all the lectures of our dinner time lectures. The kids had them all labeled, this is lecture number 21, number 22. Anyway, once again, I'd like to acknowledge that the real reason we're here, because this gentleman right here, my father, and he had the confidence to believe this kid out of college that had the crazy dream that we could actually create a broiler industry in Minnesota where it gets to be 30 and 40 below zero. And he had faith in, he put up enough money, and we got things going. And so I want to acknowledge his confidence and his trust that he put in me at that time. That was 1951, it's a long time ago. There weren't many chickens even in the South in those years. Then I'd like to move on to 1974. And Mike just got out of college, and I guess maybe we had a sort of incentive. We invested all this money in his college career, that we had to get something out of it. So we decided to ask him if he wanted to go out to Indonesia. Ralph Westman, who was our president at that time, we had this crazy idea that we're going to go to Indonesia and we're going to create an industry over there. I don't know. I guess that was mostly my brother's idea, but anyway, we went. The three of us went, Ralph and myself and Mike, and it proved to end up being quite an adventure for Mike. In 2 weeks' time, you couldn't do anything, particularly in that economy over there, and so we said, Mike, do you want to stay here and see if you can get this going? And he did. And so for the next months, almost a year and a half, I was constantly on the telephone with him at 2 o'clock in the morning, at 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. It was 12 hours difference anyway. But it was a great opportunity for Mike in one respect, and I look back on it and say it was a fun opportunity for me as well. We had almost zero chance of success looking back on it. But anyway, it was one of those crazy things you do, and you look back on it. And this one here didn't cost us much money, so it was okay. So moving ahead, then Mike came back, and he had all kinds of various jobs, and I do remember that. Probably the only time that we had an employee that routinely went to work with a snowmobile. And he had a house right across the river from the feed mill, so he'd get on a snowmobile in the morning and off he'd go off to work. So I still remember that. And he had a lot of opportunity for a lot of different things. So anyway, it was 22 years ago this next December that I stood and had a retirement party for me, and as the result, and that was the result of me making a decision then that I should retire. And I just turned 65, and I decided that if I'm going to do it, I better gamble on Mike and turn the reins over to him. And it was proved to be no gamble. And it was a great opportunity in the company at that time because the Arcadia Friars was going bankrupt, and we had some real opportunities down there, also some real challenges. So Mike and his team really stepped in, and today Arcadia is a top-notch operation. So, but it's been a lot of years, a lot of problems, and a lot of investment, and a lot of hard work by everybody in this room. So it was a good opportunity there. So there's a lot of. I might mention that I went out to the National Chicken Convention last week when Mike, as you've heard, was the president, and this was his opportunity to lead the meetings, et cetera, et cetera. And he did an outstanding job. But what I do want to mention is that everybody kept up asking me, well, what do you think about this? How's this new partnership going? How's this new, what do you think of your new owners? And so, well, what about, hear something about pork business? So I was pleased to tell them that we're very, very pleased with the first year under the Mashoff's guidance and involvement. And we felt it was a win-win situation for everybody. And so I spread that word around, and I really think so. And and the comments I mentioned is that the two companies have a culture that is comparable. We have a methodology of operation which is quite similar, and the most important thing is that you have a commitment on both sides. So I was pleased to report that to people that were quizzing me, and I really think so. So anyway, now we go on, and looking around the room here tonight, and everybody's had a piece of the action here, and it's been somebody's more or less, but everybody's had a tremendous contribution. And I have a lot of confidence in going forward. I think that Steve and the team he will develop I'm confident that the company will move forward, and even though I'm having a little difficulty eating pork, well, I'll get used to it. Yeah. I noticed we had it here at night, but I noticed there's no pork at the National Chicken Convention for some reason. And I doubt if there's any at the National Pork Convention, any chicken at the Pork Convention. I'd also like to make an acknowledgement of the transition team. And a lot of people that are here, Mike Grimes and Lauren Lagerman and Nancy and Ron Flaherty. And I couldn't believe how so many words could be cranked out in an operation which seemed kind of simple to me. but the job was done, and all the I's were dotted and all the T's were crossed, and the job was done, and I want to acknowledge their presence. And I know there was an awful lot of extra time that was put in, a lot of people in that process, but now we're launched off to a new world, a new life, and we look forward with confidence to the future. So thank you all, and I'm sure there's other summers. Many of here in the audience will have some comments as well. So, Tim?
Well, as Don suggested, we're going to have an open mic time period, and we can take that literally. Let's open mic. So if anybody's got any thoughts or comments or stories or ideas about what their experiences have been with Mike, want to come up and share them? We've got a good microphone up here, so everybody will be able to hear it. Oh, Dale Nelson. I don't know if are we going to let Dale come up? You okay with that? Well, I guess I don't have to ask your permission anymore. Steve, you all right with that? Come on up, Dale. We do want you to use the mic because there's a videographer here.
Can I talk about you now?
No, that's not. I'm not the topic.
Tim? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, tell them who you are.
Yeah, I started with Jack Frost 1 month after Mike did. Mike started June 1st, 1974. I started July 1st, 1974. And I've, went up through the ranks in accounting and finance, and, was on the acquisition team that did the armor deal, which still was one of the things that made the company, as Don knows and understands. But I have some backstories. After all the pomp and circumstances and congratulations, which is excellent, I have some other stories. Mike, you stay here. I have some other stories. Now, first of all, Steve Jurek, congratulations. Stand up. No, are you standing up? Okay. As Don said, his first assignment was Indonesia with Ralph Westman, trying to start a broiler company in Indonesia. I won't even go into why that didn't work, but as assistant controller, it was my responsibility to review expense reports. I had to review and make sure they added up. And I got Mike's from Indonesia. And I'm going, oh my. Larry Hansen was my boss at the time. He was the controller. And I said, Larry, I've reviewed Mike's expense report. Now, I thought Don said he wanted to become a career in the poultry business. He said, well, he does. I said, well, looking at this expense report, I think he wants to be a comedian. Anyway, long-term planning. Tim.
No, it's about Mike.
Oh, I had a few of them. Tim, no. Okay. Mike and Ralph Westman, who's not here tonight, had a kind of an interesting relationship. They would, he's laughing, from time to time antagonize each other. Not overtly, but covertly. We were at a long-term planning session in Brainerd, and we stayed in a couple of cabins, and the cabins had fireplaces. And Mr. Wensman might have been part of this group, but when Mike was sleeping, and Carol, when he sleeps really hard. Well, some vice presidents snuck into the room, went into the fireplace and pulled out a log and put it in his bed. Okay. In his bed, he didn't wake up. And we come up the next morning and we're at breakfast and what happened, Mike? Did anything exciting happen overnight? And he said, well, yeah, I woke up and there's this log on my leg. And I said, well, what did you think? He said, well, I thought I had a baby. Anyway, that was just it was cleaned up. Anyway, okay.
All right, I think Dale, you just about had enough here. You're getting a little too close.
Okay. One of my other friends and business associates was Don Helgeson, and Don and I would think maybe Don, I worked directly and indirectly for you more than anyone in the poultry business, and then 16 years in the banking business. Is that correct? Pretty much. I calculate I was in 250 board meetings with you, Don. 250, and Don stayed awake for most of them. No, anyway, I really appreciate being invited. And what's not only fun, having worked with Steve and Mike and Don and Tim and the rest of you for all this time, is that not only was the business success, but they're personal friends of mine, and they have been, and hopefully they still are. Thank you.
I'm going to move that mic back just a little bit. Okay, is that better? Someone else? Carol, okay.
thought of this tonight when we were looking at the slides of the fire out at Cold Spring in on August 29th, 1998. And how devastating that was, and how no chicken was being processed or coming out of there, so they had to reorganize everything, and the place was gutted. And also that week, our oldest son, Paul, started college in Colorado, and it was Parents' Week. So, no problem. A few days after the fire, Mike and I flew to Denver for all the activities. But in the morning, Mike would have a telephone conference with the BLT and probably Arcadia, and I don't know how, and they reorganized the production of all the chicken and then shipping all the chicken to the different plants to get processed. But that just shows what a great group that was, Mike, and showing up for Paul, being there for Parents' Week, and then everybody else stepping in to smooth out production.
You don't have to wait for me. You can just line up on the side over here if you'd like. We have time for a couple of others. I know the BLT group is full of them. Here comes Doug.
Mike and I, we worked in new products there for a while, and we had a couple great adventures. I know that one time we went down to Indiana to look at cutting up thighs in cubes. Mike almost killed us on the highway, so that whoever told the other story was very appropriate. We went over a meridian, and then we got gas at a gas station down in Chicago that it had bullet holes in the windows. So that night, Mike went out with somebody else. He lines me up with the sales rep, and I went out and had too much Chinese food. And the next morning, we're tasting spiced thighs. And it wasn't a great adventure for me. Mike was having a lot of fun with it. But then when we get to the airport at Midway in Chicago, we had to rent a car, and we didn't have enough time. We were going to make our flight or check in properly, and Mike just takes the keys to the car and throws it to the nearest guy in a uniform. And we're like going, is that going to show up on the expense account? I'm not 100% sure that I could get away with that, but maybe he could. But Mike and I had a lot of good times on the road, and it's been a special time, and appreciate everything. And good luck with, and then we'll see you on the ski course next winter, or this winter. Thanks.
Okay, I'm doubting that. I'm thinking the Chinese food wouldn't necessarily have turned you green, Doug. I'm just thinking. I just wanted to share a story. And Tim usually, I've been to 3 of these now, and I've told a story at each one, and Tim usually corrects me because he says that I should tell ones that are not nice. And I do have a few of those, but I'll stick to the one I was going to tell tonight. I wanted to share a story going back to our business update meetings. We've spent a lot of time on the road, a lot of meetings. And there's one that really stands out, or one series of meetings really stands out to me. Mike mentioned earlier this evening about 2008 and the October series of business meetings that we did in 2008, when we went out and announced that there would be no bonus, that there would be no increases, that, by the way, we're going to take away a week's vacation. Those meetings were not really very fun. They were very stressful. And there's a lot of meetings, and we're doing them at all hours of the day and night. And on Friday of that week, I'm in Mike's office, and we're talking about the meetings and how they turned out, what happened and what the responses were and stuff. And Mike said, I just, these meetings, I stand up there and I'm telling this message, and I'm looking out at all these faces, and I'm thinking that, our decisions are impacting the lives of all of these people. And that's such a responsibility and such a heavy burden on that we make the right decisions. And I was just so impressed with that. It's one of those picture memories that'll stay in my mind for a long, long time, forever. And it got exaggerated because that weekend then I went to I won't say where I was because, but I went to another event and was with other people, and someone who is very close to me was talking, because this was the same year or very close to the Enron situation, and so someone else was talking about how all CEOs are evil. And I'm going, I don't think so, because the one I work with certainly is not evil. He's worrying about the personal livelihoods of all these people that depend on our decisions, or his decisions. So I wanted to share that because that stands out in my mind. And there are many things that stand out. The fire stands out. I was standing behind Don and Mike with all the firefighters, rushing back and forth as we're standing looking at the building, and they aren't discussing who was at fault or how this started. They weren't discussing, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? They were discussing how we're going to get it back up and running and how we're going to get everybody back to work. That's what the focus was. I never heard anybody blamed for that fire. So I was just so impressed by those things. And I thought that I would share those with you because I just think that those are very, very impressive. And it's been wonderful working with you. And I do have a few of the other stories too, but I'll tell those later, right, Tim? Later. Okay.
So we're not going to talk about those orange pylons that poof, and he's coming back in? Later. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Any other comments? Oh, Lauren, yes. Come right up.
So I'm Lauren Lonergan, for those of you who don't know me. I'm at Briggs. And I was sitting there listening to the stories, some of which are very funny, going, God, I don't have a lot of funny stories. Every time the phone rang, it was a problem. So I'm like, I don't know what I can stand up here and talk about, but I do have one kind of funny story. So Steve and I were in some all-day settlement conference, and it was really unpleasant. And I think finally about 6:30 in the afternoon, we finally got it settled. But Steve wanted to call Mike to see if it was okay. So he starts calling him, no Mike. So about half an hour later, and the mediator's going, let's get it done, we finally get Mike. He'd been out water skiing. So fortunately we got him, and he said yes, and we got it done. But I did want to say on behalf of Briggs how much we've enjoyed working with you, Mike, and the rest of the team all these years. It's been great. It was really great to work with on the transition. I'm so glad it worked out for everybody, and we are hoping that it all goes well in the future as well.
Don Burge is coming up.
Hi, I'm Don Burge, R&D, and I've only been here for 12 years, so I don't have any really old stories. Although I did want to say one thing, Peggy, by the way. Last time we got up in Sartell, you said, oh, look how big this crowd is. A couple Killians, they get smaller, just so you know. But anyway, Mike, one of the probably the most approachable CEO I think I've worked for 6 companies, by far, which also leads to some entertaining moments from time to time. One of the first ones I remember was Mike caught me in the hall, in the office, and he said, Don, he says, my wife and I had an argument, discussion. I need you to settle it.
You're kidding, aren't you? Well, we went out, we bought a rotisserie bird. We went out shopping, he says, and she left it, well, maybe I left it in the seat of the car for 2 hours. And would it be safe to eat? And of course I wanted to say, did you eat it, Mike? Yeah, but I didn't, Carol. But that one was like, holy cow, he's going to get personal. But one of the one that I remember probably the most, let's see if Mike remembers this one. This was a long time ago because Mark was plant manager at Cold Spring before we had the new entrance. I happened to go out walking across the parking lot, and the first thing I noticed about the plant is it was completely dark. And it was like a Monty Python movie. You saw these people kind of moving around, and they're moving towards windows. And as I walked in, I started to realize that the power was completely out in the entire building. Now, the first thing I see is somebody with a flip phone like this going up and down the hall, and it's Steve. So I just stopped and looked at him, and he goes, I'm calling, the power's out. I can't talk. Okay, it's not working, Steve, it's out. And I walked down by the copier, the copy machine is. As I headed towards that corner, around the corner comes Mike. And he says, hi, Don. He says, this is terrible. He says, the power's out in the plant. Even if it came on right now, it would take us 2 hours to get everything back up and running. And I went, oh, that's terrible. I said, oh, I shouldn't have done that. He says, done what? I said, I was walking across the parking lot, Mike, and there's this great big extension cord, and I kicked it. He says, you did what? I said, Mike. Good memories, though.
I'm Mike Grimes. I'm with Briggs & Morgan. Actually, I'm not up here for myself. Dale had 3 more stories to tell, and I've got his notes, and I'll cover those very quickly. I just want to say thank you to the Helgeson family. As a number of people know in the room, I started out as the outside auditor, as the senior accountant, doing the audit for Jack Frost in 1977, which dates back to Steve and Mike, and particularly Dale. First audit that we completed, or that I did, was Liberty Loan and Thrift. And EM used to come in every morning and have coffee and visit, and it was very much a family operation then. Still is. You've maintained that. Mike, thank you very much. Don, especially. Steve, Carrie, Tim, all the people that we've worked with over the years have been nothing but exemplary, intelligent, hardworking, true to their word. We couldn't have expected more, and we've never gotten more from others. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Good time maybe for one more. Anybody else want to come up? Okay, I think we'll call it a night, Mike, if that's, oh, Mike's coming back up.
Well, I could set the record straight on some of those stories, but that'll be for afterwards. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. It's really gratifying to see each and every one of you here. Carol and I very much appreciate all the support that you have shown to us over the years, and wish you well going into the future. It's really been a pleasure knowing and working with every one of you, and I know the company's in great hands, and really excited about the opportunities ahead. So again, thank you. Thank you for being here tonight, and wish you the best.